6 life hacks to motivate you for anything. Emotions lead us to do almost everything we do. Instead of passively letting them direct us, we can use our logic to actively manipulate our emotions to guide us to do what we know is best for us to do. Emotion and motivation come and go. So instead of relying on ourselves to always be motivated for everything we do all the time, we can rely on systems that we put in place that make it easier for us to accomplish what we want with little resistance. Hack number 1. Break down any projects you may engage in into small, simple, bite-sized steps. When the time comes to go to work on it and you see how big the project is, it is easy to be intimidated and lose motivation and procrastinate. But if you have the project already broken down into bite-sized chunks, it suddenly makes the tasks much more appealing. The ideal range of chunk size that works best for me is steps that take up to no more than about 30 minutes to accomplish. But if that's too much for you, there's nothing stopping you from breaking it down even further into 15, 10, 5, or even 1 minute chunks if the task is that intimidating. However much it takes to shrink the resistance you feel to the task into something easily manageable is worth it. Personally, I keep a list of all the projects I'm doing and intend on doing in the future. Nested under each project, I have a list of the main tasks that make up that project. And then nested under each of those main tasks, I have the bite-sized, actionable chunks that I find really easy and painless to accomplish. Then as I do them, I fill in a checkbox next to each one, which keeps me even more motivated to keep me doing even more tasks, and then it's an endless positive cycle of productivity. Hack number 2. Make the pathway for doing a task as easy and painless as possible, and make the pathway to doing something you don't want to do as hard as possible. This is a system that's really easy to implement and can make drastic changes to your lifestyle if you just do it. Since we know that the emotional side of our brain is typically what determines most of the choices we make, we can use that as leverage in our favor. All it takes is a few simple acts of making the things we know that we want to do easier and more convenient than the things we know that we don't want to do. For example, if you want to go to the gym first thing in the morning, then lay out all the clothes right next to your bed. Have your bag with everything needed packed and ready. Have your water bottle filled up. Get your phone, wallet, and keys and everything you need right there close to your bed as possible. This way it's as convenient as possible to just get up and go. The same technique works for things you know you don't want to do. You don't want to eat junk food? Throw it all out. Don't have any in your house. This way if you get a craving for it, you'll either have to go out and buy some or break into the neighbor's house and steal theirs, and you know how much of a pain that can be. So this way it's more convenient for you to just go ahead and eat the good food that's already in your house. Hack number 3. Train your attention and willpower. While it's a great strategy to make the tasks you take on as easy as you can make them to reduce the amount of resistance you feel to taking them on, it's also hugely beneficial to train your willpower and focus so that you won't have to worry about making things easier as much because you will have a stronger mind that can more easily take on more challenging tasks. Here's a couple of the best ways you can strengthen your focus and willpower so that you can easily take on any challenge. Practice single tasking. This is easily one of the most powerful and underappreciated techniques that has a ton of different benefits. In the context of this subject, it's fantastic for training and strengthening your focus, and it's super simple. Here it is. When it comes time to work on something, simply only focus on doing that one thing. You'll be tempted to try to multitask, especially at first, but fight it and just do the one thing. Give all of your focus to that one thing and don't let anything distract you. If you feel your mind start to wander or you reach for a distraction like your phone or your nano pet, just consciously guide your focus back to what it should be on. I know this probably sounds either super obvious or really easy, but a lot of people don't even realize the power of this. Just try it and you'll see what I mean. You'll be shocked at not only how effectively it trains your focus, but also at how much you'll be able to accomplish when you focus only on one thing at a time. One of the best ways to strengthen your willpower is to not make a habit of letting yourself get away with betraying your own intentions without even giving it a thought. In other words, when you fail to do something you told yourself you were going to do, don't just brush it off and push it out of your mind. Make yourself think about what you're doing before, during, and after you do it. When you're about to eat that whole cookie cake on day 3 of your 6-week diet, just at least think about it first. I'm not necessarily telling you shouldn't eat the cookie cake, although you shouldn't, but I'm saying if you do decide to, then be very conscious of your decision, and don't make excuses for yourself. Let yourself know the reason you broke your plan and be honest with yourself. Hack number 4. Step outside yourself. This probably sounds wacky, but I love this hack. When I say step outside yourself, I mean basically treat yourself like a Sims character. If you're playing the video game Sims and you want your character to get stronger, you just hit the buttons that make your character lift weights a bunch and boom, your character got stronger. So why don't we treat our real life selves like this? Well, unfortunately we have those pesky things called emotions that prevent us from doing lots of stuff that we know is best. However, if you start thinking of yourself and seeing yourself as an outside observer just like in a video game, you can surprisingly effectively detach your emotions and simply will yourself to do what you need to do. Oh, and here's a bonus. One of the aspects that make video games so rewarding is seeing your progress bars fill up as your character levels up and gets better. Similarly, it makes it way easier to step outside yourself and treat yourself like a Sims character if you keep track of all of the aspects in your life that you want to improve. Hack number 5. Reward yourself appropriately. Choose rewards that are fitting to whatever it is you accomplished, and try to avoid rewards that are destructive or counterproductive to your goals. For example, don't go on a month-long cruise around the world for just going to the gym one time, but also don't just eat a cookie for winning Ninja Warrior. Make a list of 5 to 10 or more simple things that you enjoy doing. Think back and be aware of all the activities that you can't help but feel joy when doing. Some of my favorite things to do is watch an episode of a show I really like while eating a good meal, sitting by a fire outside with a glass of sweet tea and letting my mind wander, having stimulating conversation with a friend about really interesting ideas like why there's a hexagon on Saturn and if lizard people really run the world. Little things like that I always enjoy and are on my list, which brings us to the last hack. Number 6. Make an effort to be happy. When you're happier overall, you are also way more motivated and productive. So just implementing some of those items onto your list that we just established as a part of your schedule can be beneficial to your motivation in itself. Couple that with using them as rewards for accomplishing tasks and watch your motivation skyrocket. And that's it! To sum it all up, break down projects into tiny steps that are fairly easy to do. Make the pathways to good actions as easy and painless as possible, while making the pathways to bad actions as hard as possible. Train your attention and willpower by practicing single tasking while maintaining focus, and be mindful whenever your willpower goes out. Step outside yourself to see yourself as a character from an outside perspective, reward yourself appropriately, and make an effort to be happy overall. Thanks for watching. If you liked this video, then you know what to do. If you have a video topic idea, then leave a comment to let me know, because I'm planning on making more of these. So if you have any interest in seeing those, then subscribe to this channel, Optimized Oracle. Until next time.